that we can just continue and finish this up. Okay. So last class, what we did was we calculated the valuation of the dividend. Dividend, the share of the profit which the companies give to its shareholders. How to calculate that? That we have done in the last class. Okay. So for single period, for multi-period, how the calculation is being done, this is what we went through. And this is we have completed in the last class. I'll share the video. You'll understand. So here you see the diagram. Here after calculation from this table. From this table, what you saw that as the time horizon is increasing. For example, we started with 1 year. Okay, so now this is 100 years. So 2 year, 3 year, 5 years. You can see that the present value remaining same. Your present value, if you see column 5, your present value of the share price will go on falling. Column 5 is your present value of the share price will go on falling as you are going. That means you're extending the period of your share because future share prices are very uncertain. So you don't know what will happen in the future. So your share price will fall, but the share of the dividend goes on increasing. If you see column 3, the present value of the dividend goes on increasing because the dividend part is something which is for sure will be there. So the as I've already shared that in case of your equities, you have two components. One is your dividend part, which is sure to come, though up and down will be there depending on the retention ratio of the companies. And another part is the volatile part, which is your capital gain and losses. It may give you gain, it may give you loss depending upon the actual variation in the market. Okay. So this is what you have observed from the diagram, that as the time horizon is increasing, the proportion of the present value contributed by the dividend is increasing. Already you have seen that. Okay. And for the your share price is falling. You can see for total present value remaining same, you take the summation. If you are taking the summation of your column 3 and your column 5, you are always getting 20. You take the summation of your column 3 and column 5, you will see you get column 6 always 20. Okay, so
Yes,
that
ma'am.
is remaining same. Your dividend price goes on increasing. The volatile part of that goes on falling. Okay, this is what has been depicted with the diagram. The falling part is the share prices, and the increasing part is the dividend part. Okay. So moving on, let us go to the dividend growth model. So actual dividend growth model says that in practice, dividend at any time period, it may have anything may happen. It may rise, it may fall, it may remain constant, it may be volatile, like suddenly some financial crisis is there, there may be fluctuations. Okay, so many things can be there. So let us discuss
Yes,
the
ma'am.
case of rising, falling and constant dividend under the dividend growth model.
Okay, ma'am.
So this is normal growth. According to normal growth, if a total equity finance firms return, so many times I'm told you, whatever profit is earned by the company, it may give 100% of it to the shareholders, or it may also retain some part of it. Mostly all the companies, they retain some part of it. Okay. So the normal growth model says that a constant proportion of the annual earning, which is we show with B, is retained. And why it is retained? So that it can be reinvested, and that increases your share prices in the future. Okay, so other part is your return on equity, and then the dividend will grow at a constant rate equal to, now what is the growth rate of the dividend? Now you will get the formula is your retention ratio, the amount of the profit, say 40%, 60%, which is not distributed to the shareholders. B is the retention ratio. Okay, and our return on equity, ROE, is the return on equity. That means the 5%, 6%, whatever you get on your invested share, depending on the market prices. Okay, so let us take an example to show that. Suppose the book value of a firm's equity per share is 100 and return on equity is 10%. Okay, so suppose assume that it is retention ratio is 60. 60 means it will, for everything, it will retain 60%. The meaning is payout is 40%. That means 40% will be given to the shareholders. So per share, whatever is earned, 60% will be retained for the growth of the company, and rest 40% will be distributed to the shareholders. Okay. Now, expecting that the firm will also earn a 10% on its return earning. Now, when you are returning the earning, of course, you are investing somewhere. You are investing means you are investing at a rate of return. Suppose your rate of return is 10%. That means your return earning is also growing, isn't it? You don't hold the return earning. You also invest it somewhere. Okay, so 60% is your retention, and that retention part is also growing at 10%. So let us calculate. So this is how you go. So assuming that the firm has no debt, that means no bond is there, only it has equities. Okay. So the firm's earning per share after 1 year, what it will be? 10% of 100, that is your 10. Now, what the firm will do? 60% is the retention ratio. So 6 will be retained, 4 will be distributed. So now the book value of the share becomes your 100 plus 6, which is your retention. 4 is given out. So the firm's earning per share in the second year is 106. Okay, because your 100 par value plus 6 is the retention ratio. So your book value is 106. 4 has been distributed. In the second year, your earning per share is 106 of 10% of 106, which is 10.6. And from this 10.6, again 60% will be retention ratio, and 10% will be retention ratio means your 60% of 10.6, which is your 6.36, and 40% will be distributed, which is 4.24. Okay, so the growth in dividend per share, it will go on like this. So let us see how it grows. So what is the growth rate? It is your dividend in the second year minus dividend in the first year divided by dividend in the first year. So your growth rate of the dividend from 1 to the second year, what is the growth rate? Remember, your dividend has grown 6.36. In the earlier, it was the growth rate was 6 divided by 6. It is your 6% is the growth rate of dividend. It is same as the formula which we had taken earlier. Your formula was B into return on equity. Your B is here 60%. Return on equity is 10%. So if you see, if you multiply 60 into 10, you are getting the same 6%. Did you get?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So moving on, the earning per share has grown at a rate of 6%. Okay. So this continues. This is the explanation of the same table. The example, this we are going to verify with if it goes into year. You don't purchase the share and sell it immediately. There are shares which are kept for years and years. We just put the money in the equity and leave it like that. Okay, so if it is for many years thereafter, how to calculate that and what will be your effect on the earning per share and all. So let us take an example. So find the growth in the book value, earning per share, dividend per share, and return earning in table 1, assuming a retention ratio of 60% and return on equity of 10%. Okay, so let us do that. See, this is your table. Given the information is this, you have to find the growth in book value, earning per share, how your earning per share is increasing because you are returning a part of your profit, dividend per share, how it is increasing, and return earning. Okay, you are finding. So first year, yeah, 100 is the face value. So 10% is the return on equity, which is 10% of 100, which is your 10. Now retention ratio is 60%. So 6 is retained, 4 is given out. Dividend per share is given out. Okay. So 106 is the book value. 106 is your par value plus your retention value. Your 100 plus 6 is 106. Now 106 becomes the book value in the next year. So 10% of that is 10.6. Of this 10.6, 60%. If you do 60% of 10.6, you get 6.36. 6.36 is retention ratio, which the company will keep it itself, and 4.24 will be distributed among the shareholders. Okay, so book value at the end will be your 106 plus 6.36. Similarly, 112.6 becomes the book value in the third year, and this way it continues. Have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just, you can just work out afterward. I just show you the done form. So this is how, if you go on proceeding like that, the same table, you can try by yourself. You get the answers like this. Okay, so what you got from this, the growth, what you observe from is the growth will be more if the firm returns higher proportion of earning. Okay, so current dividend will, however, be reduced. You can see the earning per share is going on increasing because the company has returned 60% of the profit. So you can see that the book value is going on increasing. Earning per share is going on increasing. If you return more, instead of 60%, if the company returns 70%, 80%, then in that case, your earning per share will increase further because you are investing your money. Okay, but this is not always good because the shareholders will get discouraged when they find that they are not getting a share of the profit every year. Maybe for some year, but 2-3 years it's fine. Now when the company is going on doing this and not sharing the profit with them, in that case they may not like to invest in your company. Okay, so another way is your earning per share is increasing, but if they don't get a share of the profit every year, that may be very discouraging. But you can see higher the retention ratio, your earning per share is more. And moreover, already I said, we are assume here there is no bond, the company don't have any loans, so it is using its own profit to for its own growth. In that case, that's why the earning per share is further increasing because it has no other obligations to be filled up. So the present value of a share is equal to the dividend after a year divided by this. So this is what is known as the perpetual growth model. For this, we'll go to the board ones. Can you see the board?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So here, let us start from here. So let us assume that that the dividend grows at a constant rate of G. Okay, this is the growth rate of dividend to infinity. So your no maturity period to infinity means there is no maturity period for the share. Let us assume that. Okay, so if let div 0 is the dividend paid in year 0, starting year. So dividend after 1 year will be, your formula will be this dividend in year 0 is growing at, growth rate is 1 plus G for 1 year. Similarly, for the second year, dividend for the second year, the growth rate will be this. Now this becomes div 1. It is growing for 1 year. Or it is same as your div 0 growing for 2 years. It is same as your div 0 growing for 2 years. And this way it continues. Okay, so we can extend it for n number of years. So the same way as the dividend grows constantly, the formula for share valuation can be as follows. So now we'll go for share valuation. Share valuation. If the dividend of this share is growing like this, how you are going to find the share price of the share? Okay, so your P0 is given as your dividend growing. Okay, dividend in year 0 growing for the first year. You are going to find its present value. So let it be discounted for the first year. Simply I've used your second formula. K is the rate of discount. K is what? Your rate of discount. That is the market rate of interest. This is simply your rate of return or market rate of interest or opportunity cost. That means the money with which you can invest in the market. Okay. So similarly for the second year. So div 0 This is growing for second year. And when you are finding the present value, remember you are finding the present value, share value. Share value means always the present value. So this continues. So for nth year, DIV 0. This is your growth rate of the dividend. N tends to infinite, taking it to infinite and discounted at the rate of interest. N tends to infinite. Okay, so let this be our equation 1. So from this, we get, can I go to the change? Have you written?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I write it as, so this is equal to P0 equal to summation of, this is your DIV0 1 plus G to the power T. This is 1 plus KE discounted for the power T. T is changing from, sorry, this summation, whole of summation. So this is your T changing from your 1 to n tends to infinite. Okay, so let this be our equation 2. So from this, since G is constant and n is tending to infinite, so equation 1 is simplified as, P0 is equal to, this is your dividend, okay, then growth rate, this is your KE minus G. This is your formula of the share valuation under a constant growth rate. Let this be equation 3. Let this be equation 3. Let me know if you have finished.
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Okay. So from this,
Done.
yes. So as n tends to infinite, you can also write your P0 is equal to your dividend for a year, opportunity cost into growth rate is your share valuation, with the dividend growing at a constant growth rate of G. This is for perpetual growth, okay? From this equation 3, if it is going for n number of years, for perpetual growth, your share valuation will become this. I'll go to the PPT again. Can you see the PPT?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now you can understand the meaning of this. So the dividend, it is the present value of the dividend divided by K is the opportunity cost, or the market rate of interest, minus the G. Okay, so this, how you see your dividend growing. These are some of the assumption of the perpetual growth model of your dividend. First is your opportunity cost should be greater than your growth rate. If your market rate is not greater than your growth rate of the dividend, you will see absurd result. Okay, so your share valuation will not be proper. Okay, it will not give you fair share prices. If K is equal to G, it will yield an infinite price. And if your opportunity cost is less than the growth rate of the dividend, the result will be negative from this formula. Okay. So the relationship between your opportunity cost and the growth rate is assumed to remain constant and perpetual. So when you start, we take opportunity cost, which should be greater than the growth rate, and that we use throughout the valuation, and that is assumed to remain constant. If it fluctuates, then your share valuation will be different. So let us see, take a example of a perpetual growth. A company paid a dividend of 3.70 in the previous year. Okay, the dividend in the future are expected to grow perpetually at 8%. For example, suppose you want to invest in a particular company, what you have to look whether how much dividend it has paid in the last year, last few years, then only you should invest in the share. So these are some of the parameters you should look into. For example, suppose this question, a company paid a dividend of 3.70 in the previous year. Okay, the dividend in the future are expected to grow perpetually at a rate of 8%. And you calculate that the dividend of this company last 5 years, 10 years, the dividend is showing a growth rate of say 8%. So find out the share prices today if the market capitalizes dividend at 12%. So if the opportunity cost is 12%, find how much should be the share prices. How much should you invest in this share? When you are going to invest in the share, what should be the share prices? So that you invest. Otherwise, you should not invest. Calculate that.
92.5.
92.5.
Yes, ma'am.
What formula have you used? Dividend.
Perpetual growth, dividend minus market rate minus growth rate.
Both of you got the same answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is dividend of 1. I think that's why you got a different answer. This is, see this formula. Here, dividend, this numerator, dividend 0 growing at 1 plus g. This is why I have written equation 4 as this should be dividend of 1. This means dividend of 0 growing at 1 plus g. Okay. After changing this, are you getting the same answer? Your formula is dividend for the first year use this formula. If you are confused, use this formula.
Then it's 100. 99.9.
100. Yes. Then it's 100. Okay. So this is your formula becomes, I am writing it again so that because this your question will be there. So dividend 0. This is G, growth rate. Okay. Opportunity cost, growth rate. This is, I write the numerator as dividend in the first year. So this is KE minus. So this is 3.70. Then 8. This is 12. This is 0.08. $100. Got everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next one. For your exam purpose, just be thorough with this type of questions. I'll send you the PPT. This PPT will be sent today. Just be thorough. Midsem is there. But now we are sending the question by this week. Okay, price of a share under perpetual. Next year class, I will complete your whole of this portfolio assessment. Starting from your portfolio investment, expected return. One class I'll complete the whole. Next class we will complete it. Price of share under perpetual growth. Continue. So a company has a book value per share of 137.80. Return on equity is 15%. Follow a policy of 60% retention. If the opportunity cost is 80%, what would be the price of the share today? How much should you invest? Fine. What will be the earning per share after 1 year? Book value is 137.80. Return on equity is 15%. So earning per share after 1 year?
15.
you have to multiply them. Okay, because return on equity, this is the book value. Remember, you did the table. Okay, so in the table, 15 for return on equity. So this is the book value of the share, 137.80, 15%. You have to multiply them to get what is the earning per share. Okay, then the dividend per share, it has a retention ratio of 60%. So dividend will be your 60% will be deducted. That means 40%. Yes, retention ratio. So let us go to the board. Let me know your answer. Okay. So earning per
Ma'am, 300.
300, no? Earning per share
Okay.
after 1 year is how much? 137.8 into your return on equity is 15%. Okay, so that gives you 20.67. So the company's dividend per share after 1 year. So dividend per share after 1 year, retention ratio is 60%. So you have to 0.60 into your earning per share. This will be the dividend. 60% is retention ratio. So 40% of your share price will be given out. Okay. So this gives you 0.40 into 20.67. That means the amount which will be given out as dividend. How much? 8.27.
8.26.
8.26. Okay. Now find the growth of dividend. The growth of dividend is how much? The growth of dividend, your formula is, remember, G equal to B into return on equity. So in this case, growth 60 into return on equity is 15. That gives you 0.09 is the growth in dividend. Assuming it's a perpetual share, use the formula. So dividend for the first year, that is dividend of 1 divided by opportunity cost minus growth rate. Your usual formula. So your share valuation will be your dividend in the first year divided by opportunity cost minus the growth rate. This is your formula. How much is that?
Hundred.
No,
Okay.
8.27 divided by opportunity. This is dividend of first year. So this is case is how much? 18% minus 0.09.
So shouldn't 8.2% be multiplied with 1 plus
What?
growth rate?
Why? Why? If it is D0, then you are multiplying with 1 plus G. That's why I repeated that this is D1. Already you have done, included the growth rate. You have already included and calculated this.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
That's why previous question I showed you with both the formula. Here, I showed you both the formula.
Yes.
91.89. Check it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So let's move on. Can you see the PPT?
No, ma'am.
Yes, it's visible.
No, ma'am, not visible. Now visible, ma'am.
Okay. So see here. So when you are investing, there are two type of shares you can invest. One is what is known as the growth share. Okay, in which the volatility part will be much more. Okay, but it will give you a lot of income. Other is your income share, where the dividend part will be huge. That means you have a secure income, but the volatility part is less, means your growth in your share prices will be less. So when you are investing, there are two type of share available: growth share, income share. If you go for any mutual fund, they'll give you choice what proportion of your money you want to invest in your growth share, in income share. These are all the important things you have to go through. Okay, so if you want to go for more higher return with more capital gain, that means, remember, more higher return capital gain means you have to take some risk. Okay, so in that case, you go for growth share. A volatility part is there, but you also have a high chance of growing. If the market prospers, you get a return. And in case it is your income share, your dividend part will be more, your volatility part will be less. But that's why your if the market prospers, you only, because you already have got a part of the dividend, there you won't get part of the extra profit which the company may get. Okay, so you can see those investors who want regular income will obviously prefer the income share. These are the two type of shares and all the valuations you have done. Okay, so what is the linkage between share price and earning and dividend is already we have done. You can just go through this. Today we'll stop here.